Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trinity, Continuum, and Bad News Playground Expose Session 2, interview with the Aberrant. My name is Travis. My pronouns are he, they, and I am your story guide for the evening. Let's go around real quick and introduce everyone before we dive into tonight's tale. First up, let's have Zach. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you'd like to promote.
Hello, I am Zachary Naldra, he, him. I am able to be found on the Bird app at Zach Rules. I am a community content and freelance TTRPG writer. I currently have out a book called Good Dogs of Harmony Acres since it's Pugmire month. Go pick up 5 pre-made characters with very adorable custom art made of them. Tonight, I am playing MJ Warner, who is they, him, and he from the Sculpian Society. And one of these days, I'm going to say that right.
Despite the fact that it gets me in trouble sometimes, I still call them Rexes. Docs, I believe, is the preferred shortened form for second edition. But thank you very much. And I've just thrown theoretically a link in the chat if our Nightbot command is typed right. There we go. There's a link in the chat to your latest Pugmire release, the Good Dogs of Harmony Acres. And next up, Emma, let's have you give us all of your pertinence, please.
Hey, I'm Emma. You can find me at Lupin Venda on Twitter, and I'm playing Fiona Dyer tonight. Pronouns are she, her, and she's mercenary. And I want to shoot things with big guns.
Beautiful, and I believe you'll have ample opportunities to do as much. I'll do what I can to ensure that there's a bit of the old ultra violence tonight. Speaking of the old ultra violence, Scott, please give us your pertinence.
Hi, my name is Scott Cuban, pronouns he, him. You can find me on Twitter at Simulacra RPGs, as well as on Twitch and YouTube at Simulacra TV. That's the channel for my actual play channel. I run a bunch of Trinity Continuum stuff there. Tonight, I will be playing Henri Minaud with my ever-present companion, Brigitte, the world's most horrible bird. And he is a rough and tumble guide and protector here in Blessure.
I love it. Beautiful. And speaking of...
His pronouns are he and him.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And speaking of those who hail from inside La Blessure, let's have Babe Blade 666. Please introduce yourself, pertinence, pronouns, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Haley, also known as Babe Blade 666. You can find me on Instagram, and I'm a role player and cosplayer, and I'm excited to play this cyborg character I made called Cherry 5000. Her pronouns are she, her / robot. And yeah, I'm excited to play. I never played before, so let's see how it goes.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. And, you've played some They Came From, so you're in familiar territory.
Yeah,
Same basic system. You'll notice a few things are a little different.
Okay.
No quips to save you this time.
Oh, no.
And speaking of quips, let's take it over to someone who's going to use them, whether they're here or not. Josh, please give us all of your pertinent details.
I am Joshua Allen Deach, he, him. I can be reached at Joshua Deach, as spelled below my head. Tonight, I will be playing Ambrose Slip Holloway, a very frightened psychic who's always one revelation away from total esoteric madness.
I love it.
He does not want to be there. He'll probably try and quip his way out. He would be a really good They Came From protagonist. He's very frightened.
Just bop him around the entire story path system.
He will.
play them in various different.
The slip multiverse.
Yes, the slip continuum. And speaking of it being Pugmire month, and since you're here, it's a good excuse as any to share Squeaks in the Deep, which is currently available in POD and PDF over at the Onyx Path, which Joshua and I both worked on.
Yes. Also featuring spooky things and psychic powers.
This is true. This is true. Both
Played that one.
Both in abundance. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for saying this. And last but most certainly not least, that brings us to James. Please give us your pertinence.
I am James. You won't really find me a lot on the internet yet. I am working on that. I am playing Joel Ellison Wolf, a poor kid who doesn't quite realize how in over his head he is yet. Yeah, that's really all I got.
Excellent. And so when last we got together, the group who are outside of La Blessure right now, so everyone except for Henri and Cherry 5000, had gotten together and basically assembled a plan to go into La Blessure, get to Require, conduct an interview, and get out safely. You have means of entry pretty much all worked out. You set up sympathetic managers who would help you get inside. You forged some documentation to help you get 3 people out with you as patients. And you have your vehicle set up and all of the equipment together. Are there any last words or last tasks that you would like to accomplish before you set off into the wastes? That sounds like a whole bunch of nopes and we're ready. So, okay, awesome. You light it. You all pile into the Bad News Playground skimmer. Make your way through the security checkpoint. It's almost, as you're first rolling up to the edge of La Blessure, it almost looks like it's getting better. Like you can see the very little beginnings of greenery poking up from little cracks in the earth as you near the security outpost. And looking back toward the horizon, deeper into La Blessure, you see little patches of green, like fresh hope that that nature will right the horrible wrongs that have taken place here. The security guards sort of give you a knowing nod as they look over your paperwork and usher you through. And you make your way into the wastes. For about the first 5 kilometers or so, it starts, you still have this sort of sporadic bits of greenery and places where it looks almost like it's healing. And then as you cross that 5 kilometer threshold, you can see that all the vegetation is growing at slightly odd angles and contains colors that you might not expect from plant life. There are places where you can see where the pavement actually boiled when a piece of the Esperanza hit the ground because it was so superheated from reentry. There are a few spots you notice at about the 10 kilometer mark, places where, because of the force of a blast, the outline of a person, their silhouette was effectively burnt into a wall. Start to become overwhelmed, sort of the sense of the weight of what's happened, as you realize that literally hundreds of thousands of people died right where you're driving through. And then you further start to become overwhelmed as the blanket sort of flux in the region starts nipping at the edges of awareness of those of you who are psionically active. I'm assuming none of you are turning on your attunement walking into this place. Is that fair to say?
Slip constantly is flinching as if he is trying his hardest not to look at anything psychical.
Very good. I would like each of you, as you're making your way in, who are inside the skimmer, to go ahead and give me if you'd like, maybe a integrity, survival, anything else that you might want to lean on to when it comes to keeping an eye on your terrain or being aware of your surroundings.
Would you say composure goes with that, or do you have?
Composure would be fine. Yeah, you want to do like survival composure, integrity composure. Which route do you want to take?
Honestly, it doesn't matter. I've got integrity is the same with both. So.
Okay. How about you, Joshua? What would you like to roll?
I will go with integrity. May I do cunning? Try and cunningly suss something out.
Cool. All right, go for it. James?
I would like to creatively use pilot.
Sure.
By using intellect and pilot more. As a pilot, I know what to look out for to not crash and break my ship or my car or my drone or whatever happened to be flying at the time. So he's more looking out for like environmental hazards to avoid and less like bodies and people.
Go ahead and give me that pilot. What would you like to pair that with?
I was going to do it with intellect.
Excellent. And for Fiona, any...
I would like to do integrity with stamina because I'm looking at things that I'm going to have to dodge and run around and I'm going to have to move around in my area.
So kind of looking at like what's the threat assessment of the region.
Yeah.
All right, I'll allow it. Go ahead and make that roll. Successes. MJ got 1. Excellent. I don't notice anything particularly untoward or out of the ordinary from your position in the van. How about Josh? What did Slip get?
Slip with his cunning integrity got 2 successes.
Excellent. You notice a group of folks on what look like cobbled together motorbikes, like they've been put together from various pieces of not the same brand or model of bike, stitched together in a Mad Maxian sort of gestalt of motorcycle. And you see 7 of these folks in sort of a pattern. There's 4 on one side of the road, 3 on the other, up ahead, kind of off-road coming toward you. And how many successes did Fiona get?
It's 8, right? 8 or above?
Okay. Target number is 8.
Yeah, so just 1.
All right, excellent. So again, you notice nothing terribly out of the ordinary, just that the place is blasted and trashed. You see about 100 good spots to get ambushed is really what you see as you're going through here. And then what did Joel get?
A 2.
Excellent. You also see the bikers approaching. So you do see them with enough time to warn your friends. There's no risk of an ambush, even, if, for those who didn't see. But these folks are definitely approaching, and they appear to be armed, specifically with, looks like scraps of pipe and various kind of whatever melee weapons they could get their hands on.
We were supposed to meet up with an organization in here. Did we by any chance get some sort of, or know some sort of symbol of theirs that maybe these people are wearing?
You can make a culture roll if you'd like. And what would you like to pair that with?
Intellect is about the only thing I got that would intellect or cunning.
Cunning is fast thinking, so
Yeah, because that would be his first reaction would be, oh hey, maybe these are the people we're supposed to meet up with. And apparently the dice liked me tonight because that was a 4 successes.
excellent. You recognize them. You actually saw a piece on them from Bad News Playground. Or well, you work on Bad News Playground,
Yeah.
don't you? Right.
Yeah.
So you've covered these folks before. This is a gang that calls themselves the Scum Buckets.
Okay,
They
so
are
not the people we're supposed to meet up with.
not the people you're supposed to meet up with. They're a gang of raiders who, according to the intel that you've been able to put together, are kind of running around just stealing whatever tech they can get their hands on, trying to build this makeshift tower so that their leader, Scum Touch, can effectively phone home. That's their reason for existing. They're largely blustery blowhards, and as far as you know, the scuttle around your contacts within La Blessure is that they can be scared off relatively easily.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have some unfriendlies incoming. How do we want to try and deal with them?
The rest of the Bad News crew buckles their seatbelts.
Oh no.
Slip clutches his sawed-off shotgun less like a weapon and more like a stuffed animal.
Excellent.
Are there
And
Just
windows?
make sure the safety's on that.
Are there
I didn't
windows
remove
that we can like look out and like?
Yes, there's windows you can look out, and there are 2 turret hardpoints on this. This has been modified. Like it's a news van, but it's a news van that goes into La Blessure. You have 2 turrets.
Do they
Is
look
there-
like? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was wondering does it look like they're going to be on us as soon as we land, or are we going to have some time?
I mean, looks like they're rolling up to you like they're going to attack you while you're still driving.
Okay.
Does the turret have like a hatch that can be popped out of?
Yeah,
You can.
he said it
Yeah,
had
if you,
turrets.
yeah, if you just want to pop yourself out completely, you mean? Or you
Just
want to come up in the turret?
I want to come. So like, if the turret is, I want to be able to look at them and make eye contact and aim the turret at them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you would go up in it, and it's kind of like a bubble over you, so they will see you absolutely. So you're going to come up and give them a look. We're going to run this using scene combat. So what I would like to do is your group has a total target number of, or a total number difficulty of 7 for this, because that's the number of combatants you're facing. So I would like to have each of you tell me what you are going to contribute to this scene's combat. And we're going to start things off with Henri and Cherry, who come zipping out of the various sort of piles of rubble, as if you have been waiting for these contacts to come through, and now you've seen this gang that you know is no good on their way to intercept your contact. So starting with the 2 of you, what would you 2 like to do, since you have kind of the drop on the situation?
Oh,
Well, I think the first thing that would happen would be that I would whistle to Brigitte, and she would do a dive bomb run. So she would just a speck in the sky just swoops down, and from its distended belly spits out some chunks of bone that spread out and explode in like the most clustered group of them.
Excellent. And so just so that I'm correct on that, keep me honest here with the pet rules. Is that your action to
It is not my
command?
action. It is not my action to command them. They just do. I essentially have two dudes.
Okay, beautiful. And so while they are attacking, Henry is doing this.
Henry is going to be jumping out from his place of cover and is shooting his pistol at one of them and closing the distance.
Excellent. And so I believe we'd be looking at the primary pool for your pet.
Yep.
And your aim pool, please.
Yes. So my pet gets a total of 7 successes to hit.
Okay.
However, with its capacity, the defense is lowered by 2. Or it's a spread tag.
Right. That won't necessarily apply because we're in straight scene resolution.
Noted.
So the way that would work is effectively each one of you is going to be targeting one person.
Okay.
You will have a complication of 2 because these are considered elite enemies.
Okay.
So their defense rating, I don't believe applies in combat because the scene itself just has a difficulty.
Okay.
So the way that this would work then is that you're going to be dropping off effectively one of the combatants entirely, but with that number of successes, I'm going to let you choose which combatant you want up to and including the leader.
Yeah, I think Brigitte, she target, well, I'll point it back to you because she targets like the cluster, the closest cluster of them.
Okay.
So whichever 2 are closest together.
The cluster of 4 would have the closest, and that would have Scum Touch in it. So
all right, great.
We're going to go ahead and say that Scum Touch has been taken out.
Awesome. And then Henri is going to do a shoot with his dice pool. So he gets a total of 5 successes.
Excellent.
With his pistol.
And that will allow you to drop another one of the henchmen.
So dropped.
What would Cherry like to do?
Well, Cherry would like to step out into the fray and try to close hanger one of them with her knife hand. And I'd like to use Untouchable for this scene. So as long as I'm locked onto that guy, I get like a defense bonus against the rest of them.
Beautiful. I love it. Go ahead and make your close combat.
Okay. It's my first roll.
And what attribute would you like to pair that with?
I got might.
Okay. Excellent. Roll might close combat, please.
7, 8, 9. Okay. One, 2 successes. 2 successes.
All right. Excellent. So you have a choice now of you can inflict enough damage to take out your opponent, but because you don't have enough to resolve the complication, you will take an injury as well. Or you can elect not to damage them this round.
Yeah, let's decapitate him.
All right, so you're going to go ahead and take him out, but you're going to take 1 injury condition?
Yeah,
So,
I might have something for that. Let me double check.
As you bring your, are you wearing, do you have any hard armor? That would be the first place you would lose injury conditions from.
I have Unrelenting. Does that do anything?
No, that's just that just gives you bonuses. So as you're coming across, like you clothesline him and the knife goes in and the bite keeps going. But as he drops off the end of your hand, you feel something pop as you can write in sprained wrist in your bruised condition. And that will bring us Fiona and MJ were the ones who are most ready to fight, right?
Mhm.
So what do we got going on out of these two?
So who's closest out of the, so there's one group of enemies closer to us, right?
Yes, the group of enemies that's closer to you now only has 2 people in it because this clearly cybernetically enhanced woman stepped out with a knife in her hand and just took one of them off of the bike.
Okay. I would like to shoot one of them.
Excellent. And you're shooting at the group that has so far advanced closer.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. Wait, sorry, this is my first time with this system.
No worries. So you'll be using aim to shoot,
Okay.
and then you'll decide which attribute you would like to use.
Okay.
And do you have a weapon listed in your stats that has?
Yes, I do. I have a slug thrower pistol.
And that I assume provides some level of enhancement, correct?
Yes.
So
it says 2/3. So
2/3?
or 2-3. Yeah. I'm not sure what that, I'm assuming it's the EN, right?
Yeah, the EN.
Okay, yeah.
It's 2 and then it's 3 if you've got the sight enhancement.
Oh, okay. Which I do not.
All right. So the way that will work then is you'll roll your aim.
Uh-huh.
And what was it you said you were going to combine with? Dexterity? Or cunning?
Can I can I argue might?
Might, yeah, absolutely. You're using a big gun, you're relying on the force of your strength to fight down the
recoil
and the kickback and all that.
Uh-huh. So
Sure,
for better aim. Okay.
I'll allow it. So it's aim plus might, and then whatever number of successes you get to add to.
And a reroll 10s, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I got 2 successes, and then I'm going to add 2, so 4 successes.
Beautiful. So that is sufficient enough for you to take out another one, and
cool.
You take no injury. That's enough for you to buy off the complication. So you take no injury from it. MJ, what do you got?
How close is the last remaining one from the first pack?
Close enough that if you don't stop him, he's going to be on the skimmer at the end of this turn.
If I were to jump out the skimmer and tackle him, close enough or not close enough for that?
Oh, you can jump out and tackle him if you want to.
Yeah, I would like to jump out the skimmer and tackle him.
Okay. Go ahead and make your, let's do a close combat, or do you want to rely on athletics here?
I think since the harder part of this is going to be jumping through, he's more of jumping through off of a moving vehicle and throwing their body at him. So sure. I'm going to say athletics for that reason.
I'll allow it. And then going with might.
I'm going to still say like dexterity because it's making sure he lands at the right place, not necessarily the propulsion. And that is 2 successes.
Excellent. The good news is that you do, in fact, land on him and knock him on his butt. Bad news is that it's not sufficient to take him out, and you suffer a injury condition. Now, this is a little different. You're not cybernetically enhanced. So you immediately notice what the cyborg has not, which is that the secretions from these gang members, such as sweat, mucus, tears, all appear to be both extremely high in temperature and acidic as you start to literally like feel your skin melt where you touch it.
Oh my God.
Didn't we have those bio-environment suits though?
Does either of my hard or soft armor on my negate any of that?
That's why you're still up.
Aha. Okay.
That's why you took one injury condition as opposed to melting.
Works for me.
All right. That leaves us with we've still got Joel and Slip. What would you like to bring to the party?
Am I the one who's driving this thing?
I'm
I
going
have
to assume
pilot.
that
Yeah.
since you have pilot and nobody else has been like, I want to drive, that you are the one driving.
Okay. How armored is the armored van?
I mean, you have run into people before with it, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Thank you for knowing where I was going. Knowing his own lack of combat skills and the fact that he is driving the thing.
Now,
we're just gonna try and run one of them over.
I will make mention to you that you got 4 successes on that culture roll. You know exactly who these folks are and exactly what they can do.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ooh.
So you're aware that they are squishy, and I'll grant to you the knowledge that if you go through one of these guys, like that scene in RoboCop, you know, that the ichor that explodes everywhere is also going to be acidic and hot.
It's gonna end up more like Aliens than RoboCop.
Right. I mean, like, you'll be fine. Everybody inside the van will probably be okay.
But there's a chance that the van will stop running.
Stop running. No, it would not do a very good, it wouldn't be nice to your paint job. And it certainly would not be kind to the various folks on the outside, including one of your crew members who did just leap outside.
And these two like crazy people that just they're helping us, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know them yet. In that
That's
case,
true, but they're the ones that your boss hired.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I work for the company. I don't know if I've ever seen like a picture of them. So I don't know if I would recognize them. I think in that case, instead of running them over, I'm going to stop before I hit them. Right. I'm going to make sure to safely stop everything so we don't risk exploding acid on everyone.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me a piloting roll, please.
And again, I will go ahead and use cunning for that because I think this is one of those, you know, thinking his way out of a problem. It's more quick wits than muscle memory. Otherwise, I'd say dexterity. His muscle memory would be to run them over.
I mean, that's fair. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just making you aware of the consequences should you choose to do so.
Yeah. That is 2 successes.
Excellent. You sort of hit the brakes and sort of bring the skimmer around. It kind of skids, even though it really wouldn't.
Ones don't subtract a success, right?
What's that? Ones do not
don't
subtract.
So it's 3. My bad.
All right.
Just a quick question. So the 2 enhancement we have for crossing the border, is that that's like a whenever we're crossing the border, or is that just a one-time use?
That's while you're crossing the border. You're inland now about 20 kilometers.
All right.
Yeah. So does Slip have anything that Slip would like to do now that the skimmer has slammed to a hover?
Okay, so we have how many of the initial group, the closer group of enemies?
There's 1 left out of them. And sorry, go ahead.
And that's the one that's been leapt upon? Or
yes.
Okay. And then there is a second group coming in.
There's a second group of 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you have an empathy roll real quick.
Sure.
Let's
see. I do cunning plus empathy.
Absolutely.
Sweet. I have an empathy. There we go.
I like your phrasing of "I'm going to let you have one."
That is 3 successes.
Beautiful. You can clearly see that those who are still upright and like on their bikes are like everything about their body language screams they're about to run.
Oh, In that case, I think no, Slip is just buckled in, saying, "I hate this, I hate this, I hate this."
Excellent. The three that are still on their bikes do, in fact, start to scoop up Scum Touch and try to make off. Now, you have sufficient successes from your last actions. I think Scott and was it MJ? No, Scott and Fiona. I think have enough successes left over to try to pick off one or two more of them on their way out, if you so choose, or you can let them go peacefully. This won't require a roll or anything. It's really a matter of, do you want to drop a couple of them on the way out?
What is that word you said that starts with a P?
Yeah, I absolutely want to try and take one of them out.
Excellent. You do so. That there's enough gross successes left over between you and the bird that dropping one is not a problem on the way out. Did you want to drop one as well then, Fiona?
They're not going to come to me again. Yeah.
Excellent. Exactly one of them gets away with his unconscious boss over his shoulder, waving his fist in the air, shouting, "You've not seen the last of the scum buckets!"
Keep running, boyo.
And now the van is stopped, or the skimmer is stopped, and you have these two fine folks here. Rabib unbuckles her seatbelt, opens the door, and says, "Henri, is that you?"
Oui, that is me. You are a woman in charge, yes? We spoke.
We did, yes.
Well.
Hop in. I see you brought a friend.
Yeah, this is Sharish. She's quite capable and enhanced.
I appreciate that. I would love to talk at length with both of you.
Well, before I get into your car and we proceed, I just need to reconfirm the terms of our deal. You are getting my two patients out that we spoke of.
Yes, and you, MJ, if you'd like, please provide Henri the paperwork that we got together.
MJ's dusting themselves off, and will reach to wherever the paperwork that I was counterfeited, I believe, by Joel.
As you're coming in, you're like taking off. You realize your armor is like melted down, like you have exposed skin on your chest, where your armor is effectively reduced to uselessness.
That's not supposed to happen.
MJ reaches in, pulls out some papers from the glove box and tosses them to you, Henri. You'll find everything in order.
I'll look over them really quick. Like, note that it's for 3 people, but I know the score. I doubt that if who I am and what I am is discovered, that'll apply to me. So I mentally check that off. Meanwhile, Brigitte has landed by one of the bikers, and has like landed by their foot, and has distended her jaw open and is sort of like snake-like starting to consume it from the leg up.
She will probably recoil after the first bite. They are not tasty morsels and are in fact acidic.
She is very upset. She wants her bones.
Yeah. She says, please come in. We've got room for both of you. This is the crew. This is MJ and Fiona and Slip. These are our hired escorts, you might say. And then Joel, you've met, or you probably have seen his work. You haven't met him. Is one of our crew. And then back there is Stan. And you see a guy sort of waving from the control booth. I handle all the cameras.
To describe the character, Henri is he has kind of like a thin wiry, athletic build, kind of boyish in frame, but he looks like he's at least 40, dry, cracked skin, like thinning blonde hair, rode hard and put away wet is a good descriptor of him.
He's had a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
And why does everyone go ahead and give me a check? This would be a great opportunity. Let's once again have everyone describe what's your character look like. Cherry, you haven't been on screen yet. Your cosplay looks amazing, so please describe your character.
Yeah, Cherry is mostly woman, but you can clearly see that she has metal kind of parts peeking out. She's tall, she's athletic, she's feminine, but yeah, she has some parts and she's still working on herself, and she's kind of like a hodgepodge of different metal parts in some areas.
Definitely looks like been put together with pieces that were found, kind of thing.
Yeah, she's
Excellent.
Definitely a scavenger, a little rough around the edges.
Beautiful. And
But still
Fiona,
pretty.
and what do they see when they look at Fiona?
Fiona's pretty tall, broad shoulders, but narrow body. Looks wiry, like she's been running around and hiding from things. And she just has the piercing eyes that you feel like are looking straight through to what makes you tick. She wants to figure everyone out.
Beautiful. And MJ.
MJ is now no longer really wearing a shirt. It's more of shreds of a shirt. And if I understand my ability to use Latrosis correctly, I have essentially appears to have been healing. As this happens, I got 2 on my side roll and only had 1 damage. So,
yeah, just double check the successes real quick, because your side rolls are going to be made at a +1 difficulty here, right?
This is without re-rolling the 10. I only had 1. I had a 9 and a 10, and only had 1 damage to heal. So, there is a makeshift damaged spider harness, still kind of hanging on, but not really providing any much use at the moment, and black cargo pants and boots, short cropped hair.
Beautiful. And I believe that leaves us with Slip, correct?
Slip is a little sliver of a 20-something young man who is clearly led a life of leisure and does not belong here. He's got a shock of prematurely white hair that sticks up in a way that just makes him look shocked all the time. He is in a brand spanking new biosuit, and he fidgets in it as if he is not used to wearing one. And occasionally his head moves in a way that would just feel like if he was filmed at just the wrong frame rate. And he'll mutter things out as he picks up psychic signals.
And Rabib is wearing also a biosuit. She's got kind of like a war weary almost face about her, like she's seen a bunch of suffering, like someone who's been covering extended suffering for a long time. She just looks kind of exhausted, but very, very attractive. Clearly, you can tell that money was spent on hair, on makeup, on things like that. She just looks like she's been running a marathon. And she sits down and says, "All right, let's see how quick of work we can make this 600-kilometer drive."
I will try to make it as quick as possible, ma'am. And Joel will put the skimmer back, not even checking to see if anyone's like put on their seatbelts or even sitting down yet. They'll just put it back into drive and start going again.
Excellent. So rather than spend the literal weeks we could spend on traveling across La Blessure, what I would like to do instead is have each one of you tell me how you would like to contribute to the safe egress across this irradiated wasteland, what skill you would like to lean on during that. And then I'll have you roll that skill and have each of us will narrate one scene involving sort of the spotlight of when you were instrumental to getting to our goal. And these can also be something where we can work together too. So if two of you want to collaborate on something, you can. If you want to, essentially what I'd like to do is set up just a quick montage of your activities, and then we can dial into what those look like specifically. Does that make sense for sort of cutting the road movie together, as it were? So why don't we start off, Fiona, do you have any particular ideas or anyone you'd like to coordinate with even?
Well, I guess I'd like to coordinate actually with, sorry, I forgot your character's name, James? Joel. Because you're driving, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm thinking I'd like to be able to like spot places where we could get stuck or stopped or anything, or ambushed. Maybe keep us out of the tight canyons, the little jerky turnaround places where people could be hiding.
Okay, so sort of collaborating together to act as sort of like an early warning, ambush avoidance.
Yeah, which way to drive to keep us from getting all jammed up.
Excellent. And do either of you have danger sense or always prepared?
No.
Okay. So why don't Fiona, you were good. What skill were you going to rely on specifically then?
I was going to sorry, I was looking up, I guess. I was going to maybe think about
Did you have a gift you wanted to use in this situation?
No, I was looking at them and I don't have any that really apply to this situation.
Okay.
But how about actually I have a decent pilot skill, and I was thinking about like combining that with James or
Sure.
Joel.
Sort of being a co-pilot.
Yeah.
Sure. If the two of you want to make pilot checks, go ahead and let's see what we get from that combined roll.
So just the pilot?
Pilot, and then whatever attribute you would like to lean on.
Okay.
And just let me know like what attribute you're leaning on, so I know how we're gonna, so we can help guide how we're narrating it. Like if it's stamina, is it about like doing long shifts? If it's might, it's about, literally like being able to exert your force to, go around tight corners and navigate tight spots. So, relying on your muscle strength to literally move the wheel around in time to make those tense turns. Things like that.
I was kind of thinking I'd like to use resolve and use it as like a way to stay always vigilant. So like my resolve helps me last long hours and keep vigilant for threats.
I think that's beautiful. Awesome. Yep. So go ahead and give me pilot resolve. And what's Joel going to lean on?
I picked dexterity because at this point, he long drives. He just kind of turns his brain off and does the autopilot thing where I know where I'm going. I'm following my map. I don't really need to think about it too much. I'm controlling the tunes. And I did get 3 successes.
Excellent.
I got 2.
Excellent. So we have a total of 5 successes. That's not too bad. So as you're what would be a good sequence, a good example of one thing that Fiona is doing, utilizing those successes during this journey?
Okay, so I'd be up next to Joel and I'd be like, see there, where the junk sort of forms this canyon. Try to drive around that, because that looks like a perfect ambush spot.
That'll add miles to our big. Whatever.
But being ambushed will add even more time.
Fine, Mom.
As you zip around the area where she sort of shooed you off of a shortcut, you see like an almost absurd amount of hover cycles on the other side. Like you were about to ride right into just a be all end all butt kicking ambush.
I'm gonna pat his shoulder real slow. You're welcome.
Do we see the scum buckets amongst them?
The scum buckets are not amongst them.
Darn.
They've run off to lick their wounds and in shame. Oh, thanks so much for the resub. So next up then, Slip. Are you coordinating with anyone or working on your own?
Yeah. Coordinating with the group, certainly the driver. At some point, Slip is going to, he's been avoiding it, but at some point it seems like they'll need it. And he's going to open himself. He's going to use attunement to sense the area around him. He has one of his basic powers is the sight, which allows him to pick up more info than the average attunement. And also he has extended attunement and an edge that it goes out to like 1,000+ kilometers. And
Okay.
So he's going to be sensing for psychic things, impressions, corruption, all that stuff. And he hates it. This place is bad. It's a bad place. He just keeps repeating that. He freaks out.
Occasionally get visions of, the deaths.
Yeah.
Does Slip make like any intent? Like, does he telegraph that he's going to do this at all?
Yes, because you guys will just hear him trying to talk himself into it and trying to talk himself out of it. And finally, he's like, "All right," and he'll get near the driver, and he is just gonna like grab the roof of the vehicle, and his eyes are just gonna kind of go white. And I will roll a ridiculous pool.
Yeah.
Henri's hand doesn't like go on his gun, but it goes by his gun. Just in case.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Joel does his best to comfort Slip, as they have at least kind of bonded.
5 successes.
Wonderful.
About the first 30 seconds of this is just a scream. And then he just starts channeling info. In between any useful info, there's just lots of weird, really cryptic things, like the dirt's angry, or he picks up details from way too far away.
All right. So you start
Drink the coffee.
You start reaching out with your attunement. And the first thing you realize is that everything within your range of attunement from where you're sitting right now has this psionic stamp of absolute horror upon it. You see from 1,000 different perspectives this screaming ball of fire flying out of the sky directly toward you, as if the trauma of the Esperanza crash was so great that it left a psionic dent in the very fabric of Europe itself. That's the fun part. Once that goes past, you immediately start to feel the weight of the corruption surrounding you. It's as if it had parted just long enough to let you experience the pain and then come slamming down into you like 1,000 hot knives all going into your eyeballs. You will suffer a +1 complication to everything that you do for the remainder of the journey due to the corruption. And you may ask me 4 questions about the area that you would be able to learn through attunement or through the site.
Is there through all the awfulness, is there a least awful kind of path through it that he can?
You can absolutely map the path of least corruption.
Yes.
It will add about 3 weeks to your travel time.
Oh.
Because it's very jagged.
I guess the points of the what are the points of worst corruption so that he can whether we avoid them, whether we avoid them or he just warns people before they hit them if it's like, well, we got to go through it.
You can sense there's definitely multiple sources that would qualify as their own quantum flux zones within this larger quantum flux zone. Like, you're pretty sure you clock a dozen aberrants within this range.
Okay.
And those are just the ones that you notice. Right. So you're sure with all the static and interference, there are more around. Question 2. You can learn the psi trait, current number of psi points, aptitude of each scion within your range, whether or not a neutral has strong latency. You can sense corruption zones or Terrat level aberrants within range. Your chances of actually noticing any specific source of corruption that's lower than a nemesis level aberrant right now is almost non-existent.
Right, there's just too much. So I guess just the most powerful spots of corruption, the most powerful aberrants that stick out to him. Just so the group.
You clock a dozen. One of them is definitely on, like, at the location you're going to.
Okay.
Like, you can tell that they are definitely giving off at least that level of threat. Any last 2 questions? Looking for psi users, anything like that?
I'll look for powerful psi users.
Okay. About halfway there, you sense a remarkable amount of psi energy almost flare up, almost like a flash of cleanliness in this muck of corruption that immediately recedes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give to you without that it's vitakinetic energy. So something on the route, about halfway there, you're getting these pulses of strong vitakinetic energy. Is that something you'd like to stop to investigate? Or like to bring up to stop to investigate?
He'll mention it to the group, yeah.
I'm all for stopping. I need to pee anyway.
Beep says it's up to y'all.
And if anyone wants to try and float a question to him as you're sitting there and he's giving you this info, like, focus slip to notice something in particular that you want to notice, feel free to ask a final question.
You guys have one left. Anyone? No one? Going once, going twice? Awesome. Any objections to stopping?
No.
Before we stop, I would just like to can I look around and make sure that we're not going to get jumped as soon as we leave the van?
Sure. I will, given your successes earlier, I will give it to you that the place that you are pulling up to, where you're getting a sense of psionic energy, appears to be safe. It appears to be guarded. There are people standing out front of this tent city. You had a question, Sherry?
Oh, I just before we stopped, I'd like to repair my wrist during
Oh.
the time that everyone else like.
You'll have time to make repairs to your wrist, any equipment that got damaged, like your spider harness. You'll have this is you're 450 kilometers into a drive by the time you stop.
It heals itself.
Yeah, you have time to address it. Yeah, this area is like a little tent city. And there are two people armed with just like old school, like slug thrower machine guns standing at the door of the tent city. But as soon as you pull up, they're holding their guns down at the ready. But as soon as you get close enough and the engines get quiet enough, they shout, "Have you wounded?"
Is NJ still looking a little rough?
I mean,
Or-
how much time has passed?
Hours.
Several hours.
Yeah, no. Any injuries he had, he already healed naturally with his pykinetics. It takes us several hours to get there, and enough time for stuff to have healed on its own.
Probably not enough for it to heal on his own unless you have vitakinesis, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, BioWare heals on its own after.
The BioWeave armor. Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about you.
The BioWare.
Well, yeah, your BioWare is probably fine.
He also heals an injury condition every 4 hours or so.
Yeah, so it's been at least that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're in good shape physically. Nobody seems to be wounded.
Slip is laying on the floor, twitching, just saying, "This is a bad place. This is a bad place."
He's gonna. He would actually see if he can provide any relief to Slip.
Not psionically, you certainly can't. Everything about what's happening is because of the psionics. So.
If no one else speaks up to the guard, Joel. Go ahead.
But
I have a question. Have in my travels, have I ever come upon this camp?
This camp specifically, go ahead and give me a culture roll.
Sure thing.
What would you like to lean on?
I have a weird one. My stamina, just like my long travel.
Based on the travels, I'll
Yeah.
allow it. And you had while Henri is rolling that, you had something, Joel?
Oh, I was going to say, if no one else is going to speak up to the guard, Joel at least vaguely understands the term vitakinesis as being sort of a healing thing, and these guys are asking about injured people. He's going to over a loudspeaker, not exposing himself. We don't have any injured, but we do come with some supplies.
Okay, beautiful. 3 successes. You haven't seen this camp before, but you do notice they're wearing shirts that have like a symbol like painted on it. Basically, it's not like actually stitched or anything. It looks like it was drawn on with a Sharpie. But you've seen that symbol around before. It belongs to a cult that worships this woman that goes by the name of Tamrika K, who is allegedly some sort of healer that works out in the wilderness.
I will before you get on the live speaker. I will say these people are a cult. They worship some sort of healing woman. Who knows? Maybe they're good nor bad, but they're an intense group.
I mean, at the very least, they don't seem to be acting directly hostile. They're being defensive. They're asking about wounded. I would like to help them.
I am just letting you know what I know, so that we can make the best decision.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still say the same thing over the loudspeaker with that information?
Yeah, because he's not being specific about what supplies they have.
Sure.
So like, that might be reason enough for them to at least get an audience.
The guard says, "Oh, go ahead, MJ."
So since Slip would have relayed this information to us before we got there, since it was several
Right. Yes.
hours ahead, MJ would have liked to have discussed more about how to approach this before we got.
Sure.
Yeah.
All this can sort of be happening. Like at the end of the scene, we will have determined what has happened. So if there's some like back and forth about what the plan is, that's fine.
So we know that we're approaching someone with Vitakinetics.
All you know until Henri sees them is that you're approaching some source of vitakinetic energy. For all you know, until you pull up to that place, it could be a pop-up clinic. I mean, there are Rexes inside La Blessure treating people. Like that's part of what they're doing. So you really don't know until you get there exactly what you're planning for. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So we have
you just know it's a psionic source.
Yep.
That's it. And that it's vitakinetic energy. Once you do say we have some supplies, the guard shouts, "If you're interested in trade, park your vehicle. We'll get you the voice momentarily."
Joel will park the vehicle, leaving it on in case they need to make an expedient retreat. But not only will this give us an opportunity to capture some more B-roll for MJ, because I know that was one of their things, but Joel, but honestly, he wants to help people. Right. And if these people are out here healing others, even if they are a bit culty, sometimes cults form because of necessity. It's less a cult, more a brotherhood. He's trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully they're good people.
I appreciate your kindness and willingness to give the cult the benefit of the doubt. That's handy. You all can have an extra momentum for that. It's a touching speech. So as you step out, a woman, you got the engine running, obviously. Woman comes walking up. Looks like she's probably in her late 60s, maybe early 70s. She is walking with a walking stick. And she has like a bandage wrapped around part of her face. And you can see that the part that's bandaged is swollen up about twice the size of the other side of her head. And she walks over to where you're parked and says, "My name is Wilhelmina. I am known as the voice here. I handle most of the negotiations for our camp. You have supplies you wish to trade?"
Yes, I was also wondering if we might be able to get a few people for some potential interviews. We come from a news station outside of the quarantine, and
your press.
Yes.
You may not approach her reverence. Otherwise,
and I completely understand that.
She is in. You'll see the tent, the white tent over there. Do not go over to that tent. That tent is for the wounded only. Otherwise, you may conduct your interviews.
Thank you. And in exchange, we do have some food.
Excellent. You slide them. They take the supplies that you offer. Are any of you going to do anything while they conduct a couple of interviews here at the camp?
I am going to be out of the vehicle, but I am not going to go towards the camp. I'm essentially going to be like patrolling the perimeter, trying to stay as far away from a powerful Vitikinetic as I can.
That's fair. I've heard worse plans. Go ahead and give me a larceny roll if you don't mind.
Okay. I have no larceny. I will go with resolve.
Okay. So I would allow athletics
Okay.
in its place.
That I do have. That is a failure.
Excellent. You may gain a momentum.
Okay.
And your time around the outside of the camp is uneventful.
Okay.
Anyone else doing anything else in the camp? I assume
When the voice approaches and the swelling is noticeable, MJ is going to use Carillion Eye on her to kind of get in it.
Yeah, big old corruption tumor. Just pulsing with corruption and ichor.
Is that something that is
Beyond
causing pain?
She doesn't appear to be in any pain.
Okay.
You can tell. Go ahead and give me a Psi plus mode roll, would you? Psi plus your highest mode.
No successes.
No successes. Okay. Gain momentum. You don't notice anything special.
So
aside from it being a corruption tumor,
right.
You don't notice anything special about the tumor or about her pattern.
Right. So relief doesn't actually heal it, like alleviate symptoms. So is there any not like healing the tumor, but if it's causing her headaches or something to
I guess as near as you can't seem to diagnose. When you look at her with Carillion Eye, you see the presence of the tumor. You cannot seem to diagnose any symptoms of pain based on
nothing to can't figure out what needs to be treated. Okay.
Right. So your best guess would be that she's already undergone the fullest extent of vitikinetic treatment possible.
You will go around and get the footage from with Joel conducting the interviews.
Excellent.
And we'll kind of keep an eye out for anybody who may be trying to tough it out and not to see if anybody else has kind of any other suffering that he might be able to help with that they're not getting treatment for whatever reason.
Excellent. I'll grant you another point of momentum for your kindness. Exhaust half of your side pool as you're treating people. It's not so much that they're not getting treated as that there's a queue. As you're conducting these interviews, you start to realize that people have come from, all
miles
throughout Levelazure, miles and miles to get here. Yeah. That one of them even explains that this has been her third pilgrimage to try to find the camp because, her eminence has to move to stay safe, to stay away from the Aberrants.
He'll have his what's it called? The portable trauma. I'll have his medical robot with him to try to come around with him to try to help out any way that he can.
You managed to heal quite a few patients that are waiting in the queue. While you're doing that and you're conducting the interviews and getting the B-roll, is there anything that Cherry is doing while at this camp?
Cherry would do her best to look as intimidating as possible and just guard the entrance to our vehicle.
As you're looking around, go ahead and give me let's do a persuasion plus might, or if there's another skill you'd like to rely on for your intimidation. Empathy would be acceptable. since you know how to scare
Either of
people.
those.
You can just roll straight might if you want to.
Yeah, gonna
Go
have
for
to. One success.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take much to like. You realize as you're standing there, being sort of like filling up the room, and you know, arms folded in front of that door. You realize that aside from the two dudes with guns and two dudes that are kind of over in the corner having a smoke, and three ladies that are playing cards, everybody else that's here looks like they are either knocking on heaven's door or just have been treated by a Vatican addict. Like, you're like, there's not many, like, it's really just mostly refugees here. There's hardly anybody to intimidate.
I just want to emanate the presence that like I'm not to be fucked with. So.
Oh, absolutely, and you do so. You do so beautifully. It occurs to you, I guess, the lack of muscle that this operation seems to be walking around with.
She'll probably just kind of scoff to herself, like pathetic.
Beautiful. And did I touch base with Slip and Fiona's activities?
Slip is in a post psychic freakout kind of daze. He is walking amongst the people, but even when he's trying to say like a pleasantry or a greeting or something, all that comes out is weird phrases like 10 kilometers north of here, many people died horribly. 50 kilometers to the east of here, there's a grove of trees that sway when there's no wind and stay still when there is a wind, and sometimes they scream, and the earth wants revenge on the sky.
One goes, yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. Hands you some hooch.
The hooch
We've
helps.
all seen it.
I'm
You're-
not
you're-
going to. Oh, sorry.
I just wonder, you're going to drink the hooch? Go ahead and give me a stamina roll, please. And you were saying, Fiona?
I am going to follow Slip because he seems like he might be vulnerable, and I don't know if he is okay with this. I'm not going to touch him. I'm just going to kind of herd you towards like.
He's okay with that, and he's very pliable right now. Would that be stamina plus integrity?
No, that would just be a stamina roll.
Just straight stamina, and would that be do I have a 1 die penalty? You said, right?
You have a +1 complication to any die roll that
Plus
you
one,
make
+1
involving anything because your head's all screwed up.
No successes.
Excellent. You drink the hooch. You will be suffering from the condition schlackered. You may spell that however you like. But that will be an additional +1 complication until you sober up.
I want to see how many conditions I can subject this character to.
Nice.
Composure
Does-
1, stamina 2.
Does MJ and Joel's walking around helping heal people and interviewing, does that attract any additional attention from maybe like people with some actual rank in this cult?
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because as you are conducting probably like your 5th or 6th interview, Joel is speaking to the actual interviewee, a teenage refugee whose parents were killed in the Esperanza, and they lost an arm. And they've come hoping that the Messiah can grow their arm back. A woman comes up to MJ, who's holding the camera. She's up next to him. Looks like she's probably 15, 16 years old. Heavily sun-tanned, wearing rags. And she says, I can grow his arm back. Won't be a problem. Notice you've been doing a lot of helping around the camp today.
I mean,
We
yeah.
I appreciate it.
that's what we came here to do. Get word out that, this is what it's like inside of the quarantine and help out wherever we're able to.
I'm familiar with your broadcasts. We're able to get them sometimes when I go out on supply runs. I only ask that you take great care to protect those here under my protection, protect their identities. Please don't draw any attention to us.
I will make sure to go through in the post editing, blur out faces. I've been doing my best to not refer anyone as a name that will be recognizable. I understand the importance of anonymity, being anonymous.
We have concerns about the meddling of outsiders, yes. But you are right. The world does need to hear our stories. I regret that I cannot give you an interview, but I wanted to come and personally thank you for the heavy lifting that you've done today.
Hopefully, in the future, maybe we will be able to get that interview. But for now, I understand. Would your people be interested in hearing more of our broadcasts? I might be able to work with one of your radio operators to maybe circumvent.
You have Trinity discs or chips who can stop them. We have managed to amass a fairly respectable amount of cobbled together audio video gear for our own amusement in downtimes.
Let me give you this contact. Maybe next time you need to go on supplies, they can help you with making sure you have what you need. And they are going to give a way to contact Whitney, the EMS contact of.
I appreciate it. I'll keep it in mind that you'll forgive me if I'm a little leery of the Sciotas.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I grew up in Wyckoffs. I know sometimes shit isn't good between those who think they're doing what's best for everyone.
There is nothing that can be done about what has happened to France, but there is plenty more that could be done about what is happening in France, if you take my meaning. But to that end, I have eaten up enough of your time. You have more interviews to conduct, and I have patience to see. May God be with you. And she kisses you both on your foreheads, despite having to go up on her tiptoes to do so.
Oh, Joel is probably just a little bit taller than he is. A very short statured twig of a man.
Very good. With that, is there anything else that anyone else would like to do with the refugee camp?
If we've gotten sufficient footage, then yeah, we will.
Excellent. You have gotten sufficient footage. That takes care of at least one person's short-term aspiration. Have any other aspirations been resolved as of yet?
I have escaped my current anxiety through alcohol.
Excellent. So just make note of those that you have completed for at the end of the session. But right now we are at about the hour and a half mark. So why don't we go ahead and take our 5 minutes-ish for biological and technologicals. But MJ, did you have something first?
I just had a quick question because
I have a quick answer.
The aspiration of getting to the blight zone, can we change the short-term aspirations from session to session? Because
I mean
that one kind of is used up.
You got into the blight zone, so
yeah. I guess for future sessions, it matters more.
Yeah, I mean, did you get XP for that yet?
I did not.
Then hang on to it. You'll get it at the end of the session because this is the session you got in the Blessing.
Who would you consider not running over someone, avoiding a fight?
A fight still occurred.
Yeah.
So I would say no.
Okay.
I would say, however, though, that when you and Fiona worked together to avoid that ambush, you resolved that. So then, by all means, make notes of those just for future reference. But let's go ahead and take our 5. Those of you who are watching right now, hang around. We'll be back momentarily. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll see you in just a moment. All right, welcome back. We have taken our biological and technological breaks. We are at the tent camp of one Tamrika K. There was a bit of interaction going on the inside, and we are getting ready to button that up. But before we do, last things before you leave. Henri, you're still out. You're sticking to the perimeter the whole time, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like going around the camp. I'm like just like I'm patrolling the road and just sort of keeping my distance because I don't want questions.
Do me a favor and go ahead and drop me an integrity cunning too.
Sure thing. That I can do. That is 5 dice. Dropping my phone all over the place.
One thing Joel would do also is, especially if he could find the voice again, is he would actually feed her, like give her his contact information, basically.
Okay. Fat goose egg?
Yep.
Excellent. You may have another point of momentum. And you start out with, what is it, equal to the players? So you now have, hope somebody's tracking that. Yeah.
A lot. We have
nine momentum right now. All right. That's fine. You're able to leave some sort of contact information. They kind of take it and they're like, yeah, okay. Anyone want to do anything else before we leave?
As we're still kind of stretching our legs and long drive, you occasionally need to stand up and take a break and stretch, and we're probably having to repack the trailer to distribute the weight properly and all that. Joel would approach Sherry, not being the physically strong person to help repack the trailer. What are you exactly? I mean, I see the cybernetics, but like, what happened? Do you remember anything?
Oh, I remember. It is the only reason I'm here, is to get my revenge on who did this to me. I don't care about your mission. Hardly. I need to find the doctor that did this to me.
That sounds... So you were a person before, right? You were not built as an android.
Well, I was Cheryl. Now I'm Cherry 5000, thanks to the doctor.
Would you prefer us to refer to you as Cheryl?
No, this is my life now. May as well accept it. Except I won't be the robot he programmed me to be.
Do you need any help getting rid of his programming? I'm really
she
good
like
with
presses a
computers.
bunch of buttons. She's like, I got it figured out. Don't you worry. And her voice kind of like changes. Don't you worry.
If you need any help, let me know. I'm kind of the technology expert here, so...
Rabib walks up and says, all right, wheels up in 5.
The technology expert.
He's really smart.
What did you drink?
Oh, I feel much better. The provincial beverage is quite potable.
It's made out of my spit.
MJ is off delivering some of the drugs from the med kit as a donation to the med tent, with the camera clearly packed away so that it's to not violate the rules of the camp, and is missing this entire conversation.
Very good. There's a elderly gentleman with 3 teeth, one of which he's holding. It says, it's made out of my spit. As you load up the truck.
That sounds distinctly disgusting. I do not want to try any. I do apologize if you heard my phone going off. I'm turning it off now.
That's right. I just assumed it was a laugh track, and I figured I need one. So, you all anything else, or do you all load up into the van and or into the skimmer and make on your way? You dropped off the.
Slim
What?
looks very sympathetic to Cherry and says, I totally understand. My father reprogrammed me to be a very anxious dowling rod.
My parents abandoned me completely simply because I did not meet their professional requirements.
Parents suck.
Yeah, they do.
Henri, having heard Wheels Up in 5, will be heading back and coming in on the talk of parents. Will say, my parents were crushed in falling fireball. I miss them very much.
You
Lucky.
went.
Sounds horrific.
Oh yeah, I sense that.
Brigitte lands on his shoulder and like she disgorges a portion of her stomach, and that like sloughs off some flesh that she's consumed, and then sucks it back in.
I imagine it kind of looks like when a camel spits up their doula and it's just kind of hanging out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but more tumors.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's with the bird?
Oh, she is. This is Brigitte. She is my my closest friend. I hatched her from terrible egg.
Must have been some egg, but at least she appears to be friendly. She hasn't tried to eat any of us yet.
Yeah, she pecks off a giant scab on her wing, and just some purplish ooze comes out.
Mm.
Fun. Well,
She is my lovely horrible thing. I could not do without her.
I have some pre-drive checks I need to do, make sure the tires are inflated and all that stuff. He says, with the hover vehicle.
Oh, no, no, I know. She is an abomination, but I love her like more than life.
It is good to have someone that you care for. And that cares for you, hopefully.
She loves the bones that I feed her.
Mm.
Don't
Don't worry,
Slick,
Betty.
You're fine.
We'll get
Bird
you
is
some
not
more
going
books.
to eat you.
Yes, pickings are slim. Those scum buckets, they don't hit her palate very well. Oh, that would have been such a feast for her.
Well, perhaps we'll find some other denizen of the Blessure that she can eat, Rabib says, and hops into the passenger seat. All right, let's hit the road, folks. We have another 400 kilometers to go.
Joel hops into the driver's seat and starts cranking some really old music, and because this is supposed to be in
123.
2023. Yeah, so
21,
he's cranking some modern day classic. So if anyone
Old
even
school.
knows what he's playing, they probably hate it.
You find this in the bottom of a landfill somewhere. As you're riding along, so who has not yet had a travel contribution scene? We've got Fiona's covered. Excellent. How would Henri like to contribute to the journey?
Henri is going to do some more traditional navigation. He's going to be like assaying the land. He's going to be coordinating with Brigitte as she's flying up ahead, and he's reading her flight patterns because she gets really excited whenever there's a bunch of dead things around.
Okay.
And she gets distractible, and he can read her moods and patterns like that, just so that we can basically he's trying to find the clearest roads and paths and whatnot. He heard everyone talking about apparently some people have super psychic senses that can pick out corruption. That's fantastic. But he's yeah, but the road is also a nightmare hellscape that
that is valid.
That you actually need to know how to traverse.
That is absolutely valid. What would you like to lean on for your contribution then.
I would like to go with survival and cunning.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me
'Cause
that
I'm-
roll, please.
Cunning because I'm reading the mood of my bird and their fickle beasts. So that will be 4 successes.
Beautiful. Yeah, you're able to easily avoid some pretty perilous terrain and actually shave an hour or two off of the journey itself. You do notice, with enough lead time to avoid them if you choose to, but you can also try to get closer if you want to try to get footage of them. You do notice a small pilgrimage of folks who are dressed in clothing, largely rags, but that has been dyed red. Doesn't appear like it was like clothing dye was used, possibly food colorings, possibly other reddish fluids. You're not sure exactly, but they're dyed poorly a reddish hue.
Yeah.
And they are heavily mutated, lots of visible tumors. And your bird also notices that they appear to be weeping blood. There's a half dozen of them walking along.
Yeah, I'll have seen her like doing an excited little circle, and I'll like have my binoculars out and I'll sight them. And as we're going, I'll say to the group at large, like, I have some red-robed mutants ahead, about half dozen of them. Normally I would say avoid them, but you are in the business of interesting photography. Perhaps you would like to document their suffering.
Sorry.
All right. We do have a main goal to
Yes.
achieve.
I mean, they very well may be like cannibalistic or, brains rotted by corruption. It's possible. It's probably smart, but, butts in seats, as it were.
Go ahead and make a culture check if you don't mind, actually, Henri. And Trey 5000, you can as well if you'd like.
Sure thing.
What's the secondary skill in that?
If not culture,
I got survival.
yes, but I'm going to give you a complication of 3 on your roll. So go for it.
Here.
3 successes, beautiful.
Is it? Can I
So you
do
roll-
cunning and survival?
Survival, cunning, and then you're going to need basically it'll be a complication of 3, difficulty 1. So if you get a success, you'll have an answer, but your information is going to be a bit off if you don't buy off those complications. Make sense?
Okay,
Ish.
let's see what I get. I got 3 successes.
Excellent. So it's enough to get mostly accurate information. You believe that they are a group of aberrants called the Crimson Lepers, who basically are trying to infect everyone around them with this disease that they suffer, this corruption disease they suffer. Whereas Henri, since you didn't have a complication, you're aware that they are known as Crimson Lepers, but they're followers of another aberrant cult. This another healer cult, but this one is specifically an aberrant cult. And they believe that when the time is right, their Messiah will rise up and spread the true cleansing fire across all of the world.
Do I think they've spotted
Sure.
us yet?
You're almost positive they haven't. And what was
They
Cherry
haven't?
say? Yeah.
Cherry would be like, do not stop. They
Yeah, these they are servants of a terrible being that has no good intentions for this place.
Dude, infections. They will spread infections, not to me, but to the humans aboard.
I don't want that.
And they will harm others if they.
I mean, they are afflicted themselves. They are not the source of the corruption. Is best we avoid them, I say, because if they see us and we do not kill them all, then they will tell of us to their master. So unless you want to murder these people, I am on board with this. They do terrible things, but it is your call. You pay the bills.
Beeb says, we're not here to play superhero.
There's only so many I can murder in a day.
We have a
These
distinct
guys
mission.
are so common. We should just keep driving.
What do you say, Joel? You're at the wheel.
The majority seems adverse to dealing with them, so I will go ahead and make for a wide berth around them.
Excellent. And was there anyone else who had not gotten their opportunity to contribute to the montage? Excellent. MJ, what do you got?
If you've got yours, you can go ahead first because I'm still not quite sure.
Oh, if you had something in mind,
Sherry.
by all means.
Cherry. Okay. Well, Cherry wants to go and try to scavenge something aboard to like make an enhancement on herself.
Beautiful. Go ahead and give me either survival or technology roll, please.
Kind of like stealing something.
Sure.
Really care. Yeah, technology and what would it be, cunning or
Cunning is fine, yeah, for sort of noticing something that's interesting on the way.
two successes.
Excellent. So as you're moving along, you do find like a relatively large scrap. Looks like it's a scrapped like 18-wheeler. Something that apparently hasn't been picked over by bandits yet. And you're able to get enough parts that you'll be able to, when you have sufficient time, sit down and craft a weapon that has up to 5 tags on it.
Sweet. She'll be working on that the remainder of the trip.
Beautiful.
Kind of just ignoring everybody.
Any and then MJ, you said you had something?
I mean, I really don't actually have anything since it's already been covered in most of the stuff that they are good at. Does not get
MJ
done
can be
from
the snack master.
from inside the vehicle.
I mean, that's fair enough. You can stop if you want to like try to, like I said, I would assume you would stop for Cherry to, pick over that wreckage. You're stopping for scouting. So if there's something you want to stop for, you certainly can.
I figure if there is any just stopping in general from time to time, they'll get out and kind of do some scouting around the area to, check for various issues that may arise.
Sure. Give me a survival check.
And while they're driving, they're in charge of handing out snacks and making coffee. Because long drives require a lot of coffee.
It's true.
Yeah.
Survival and we'll say resolve. Makes sense.
Beautiful. I love it.
What were you going to say, Scott?
Oh, wow. No.
I would say that like with the all through the trip, like all the music that's been playing, like Henri has been like into it, and like while we're stopped, he'll like be going through the collection and like downloading as much as he can to his old shitty Zune. his Crash era Zune equivalent. And he's all like, I have not heard popular music since the thing happened. Any good? Has there any been good bang? Like What's new out there?
I have a taste for apparently ancient music.
It's good. I can sample when I am doing,
if you'd like, I can hook you up with something a little bit more modern that has some more space. I can, and he just like pulls out his cell phone and like, do you want it?
Absolutely, I do.
And his phone is just loaded with all kinds of, it's a little bit of a smorgasbord, but it is a lot of classic or modern day classic rock, some hip hop, pop music, a little bit of electronica, a little bit of classical here and there. There's the occasional movie soundtracks. Every once in a while, Pirates of the Caribbean sails through.
Before
I can't not have pirates.
Before the crash, I was going to go to a music school on the Esperanza, and then the world blew up.
Says, it's a good thing you didn't. Here, have a mini comp. And she hands you one of the mini comps from inside of the. Says, this is a. Oh, just a second. She like pushes like 3 buttons. I just wiped it. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. I will take this as well.
I figured
consider it a tip for your job well done.
Well, I figured we knew that we were coming in, so MJ would have picked up 2 extras for the people that we were meeting up with, in case that because living in a blight zone, you may not have access to mini comps.
So I will also take one from you.
How many successes did you get on your survival check?
0.
Excellent. You may have another point of momentum for the pool. All that's going to come in handy. After 2 days of time on the road, you arrive in Riquet. Riquet, France is a remarkably fortified small village. As you pull up, you can see that not only do most of the walls from Middle Ages era still stand, but have now been reinforced with just plates of metal from various vehicles. You think you see maybe like one of the solar panels, maybe from the Esperanza, has been turned into a wall. Looks like there's wreckage that has been pulled together from far and wide to build this sort of technological wall that stands behind the more ancient technology. There are 2 guards stationed by the front gate, each of them next to a mounted rail gun, effectively, that's pointed on a turret. As soon as you pull up, the guards open the gateway, but one of them calls down and says, "Park inside, leave your weapons aboard, bring only your equipment out of the vehicle."
Roger Dodger. And Joel will pull in and park, and as this is the place we were supposed to be, he will actually turn off the engine this time.
Excellent. About 4 more people come sort of wandering up. All are carrying sidearms. Nobody has their guns out. They say, you'll have to you'll have to forgive our extra caution, but we're going to need to pat everybody down. No weapons.
Sherry will make sure that everything is retracted back into her limbs.
Excellent. Is anyone trying to sneak any weapons aboard, or anyone resisting being patted down at all?
She might need to. Yeah.
And resist being patted down?
Well, just like resist them finding out that she can have retractable blades.
Oh, no. I mean, if you're going to let them give you a pat down, they're not going to find that. They're like literally just patting to see if you've got like concealed weapons on you.
It's an NSA search.
Yeah.
None that they know of. Okay.
I mean, they're like one of them even like looks at the other one as they walk over to you, like, we're really gonna, and like, yes, the boss said pat them down.
Henri will have put his pistol with the car, but he doesn't consider his axe to be a weapon. It's more of a tool to him, so he'll have it on his hip.
Henri, you're just greeted.
Okay.
You're not even you're pulled aside and greeted warmly and not remotely even given any trouble. You're known to the conceit here is that you're the connection. You're the one who knows the war.
Gotcha. I've been here a couple of times.
Right, you've moved around enough. They know you. So you're a known factor. They're not going to make you disarm. Everybody else, though, they do.
And
Go ahead.
so MJ's coming out with his portable trauma kit and medical robot.
Okay.
And the knives that he has are going to be parts with them, as they are medical devices. If there's any questioning of that.
Sure. The guards don't really. They're like look and see a medical robot and don't think too hard on it.
Does concealable mean that I don't have to? Yeah.
So concealable means that it won't be noticed in a casual search.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I have
This is not a
an
casual
ammo knife.
search.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can try to conceal it still if you'd like. You just make a larceny roll against theirs.
Yeah. Larceny, you said?
Yep. And let me see what they get.
Larceny and what? Larceny and
What would you like to lean on?
I think I'd like to lean on I don't know. Could I do might in this case? Because, fighting, I'll need the might for it.
Might would be more like if you were trying to shove it into something to like hide.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna shove this into like my arm and
is the concealable
into my
weapon
ports.
Is the concealable weapon the one that I made concealable? Because I did use sawed off on a whole bunch of stuff to make it concealable.
Oh no, it's an enamel knife.
Because concealable actually says, because I never really went over how I did it. We said that I went through and did it.
Okay.
And it says that I could have done stuff like, the sniper rifle turns into a flute case and stuff like that. So if it was something I did, we could have made an argument for it doesn't look like a weapon when you collapse it down. But.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, I would say it would probably be like a larceny and cunning would be your best bet. Or resolve, like you really want to get this in, so you're going to find an extra special place to hide it.
I think I'm gonna go with cunning.
All right.
Because I don't know that I can argue resolve.
And if it's got the concealable trait, then it will have enhancement on this roll.
Yeah. One enhancement on this roll?
Yes.
Okay. So then 2 successes.
Okay, you managed to get it in.
Okay.
Joel is going to, because his particular laser carbine, when it folds up, it looks like a generic laptop case.
Okay.
So he is going to attempt to pass off his laser carbine as a laptop. He's bringing in a couple of computers to help do audio, visual, and stuff like that.
Sure. Roll tech, and you can have 3 enhancement.
Yep. That's a lot of dice. That is 5 successes.
Believe it or not, I rolled 6 just now. So you gain momentum, unless you would like to spend some momentum from the pool that you have to re-roll some of those failed dice.
We do have a rather large pool, so I will go ahead and would everyone be cool with 2?
Yeah, that's cool.
And that is an additional one, so we at least meet.
You mean I will allow it. You get the carbine.
He
You're
knows
taking-
he can't use it, but everyone else is now devoid of their big guns. So his game plan is like, here, use this.
No one else is devoid of their big guns. Everyone brought their weapons in, but that's fine. No, everyone is less weaponed than they were, but that's fine. So you are escorted once they've patted you down. They escort you to what looks like just kind of a relatively standard brick 2-story home. You see a woman sitting on a porch swing. She looks like she's about 30 with about 10 years of extra stress piled onto it. Black hair with a few gray streaks in it. A couple of scars, dressed in combat fatigues and a bandana. She says, "Greetings. My name is Bella. I am the leader of the war gang and the mayor of Requig. I understand you have come wanting to speak with Gurier, which is fine, but first I need to know I can trust you. I have respect for your work. I have respect for your craft. Henri seems to think that this is a good deal. I remain skeptical. I need to know that you will treat Gurier with respect. I need to know that there will be no ill intentions or violence towards him. He is frightening, yes, but he is good. And he is our family. Slip, you feel like the muscles inside of your body are trying to climb out from underneath your skin because of all the corruption that's leaking out of this house.
Gonna kind of just whisper to the others, we're in a very bad place. I know I've said that a lot, but I'm stressing it. I'm speaking in italics.
At this
Please.
point, if you would prefer to wait in the car, you can.
She says, "Oh, go ahead."
Oh, Joel is just telling Slip, like, if he wants to go wait in the car and not go in the room with all of the bad.
Slip weighs that with being alone in the car, and he'll stick with the group.
And anyone else have anything else that they would like to offer? Any reassurances?
We do still have some more supplies that we can offer and trade.
In essence, what you're dealing with right now is there's an atmosphere in this meeting of tension.
Yeah.
It's tension of 2. Bella also has a negative attitude of 1 of suspicious toward you. In order to gain access to Gurier and complete the interview, you will need to, at the very least, get the atmosphere and her attitude to neutral. So this is generally done through intrigue.
So I grew up in the Wyckoff Blight, and I in a situation that you may be familiar with. We didn't have you may have lived through some sort of experience like this where you didn't have your own set of supplies. You had to keep moving. You had to rely on the trust on those that were around you. It's shaped how I was raised and how I've lived my life. I'm not going to take any actions that is going to cause harm to someone going through a similar situation that I have gone through.
Okay, so would you like to make a persuasion roll as you're pleading this case?
I prefer to use integrity.
That's fine. So you're kind of leaning on you're telling the truth, shared experience.
Shared experience.
Sorry, my cat's misbehaving. The world's worst storm just rolled in. I don't know if you can hear a bunch of rain.
I can, yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you can't control the rain, so it's not for you to apologize.
I'll try. Hold on. No luck. So, if you'd like to try to make that opportunity to shift the attitude, go ahead and roll. You'll have a complication of 1 because currently her attitude is negative toward you. She's suspicious.
All right.
Is she speaking like with an obvious French accent? Out of curiosity.
Yes. Yeah, she is very clearly French.
So composure to kind of, keep calm in the face of someone that they obviously notice is not happy with them. To go with integrity.
I'll allow it.
And that explodes. 3 successes.
Beautiful. That is sufficient to shift. Actually, no, it's not sufficient to shift because you have to overcome the atmosphere as well. So that is a net of 0 that meets. So you haven't made the situation any worse, but you haven't made it any better. You can spend some momentum if you like.
Yeah, I think I've added enough to the pool that I can take 1 away to make this work.
You want to do more than 1? You're in.
We have like 8.
Right, and you're in. If you can burn 3 right now, that will earn you all an extra XP at the end of the session. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm cool with burning 3 to get that through. To get through.
Thumbs up for me. If it doesn't work, I got backup plans.
Go ahead and drop those extra 3 dice.
Oh wait, I can only burn 2.
Okay, go ahead and burn 2. You only had 2 failures.
1 success and 10, so there's 2 more successes.
Now that is sufficient enough to bring the attitude back to normal, but the tension atmosphere is still there. Do any of you have any ideas of how you might want to try to alleviate the tension in the atmosphere as MJ is giving this speech?
I do.
Yes, please.
So I'm gonna do something that I do when I show up to this place. I will give a special whistle to Brigitte, and she will swoop down, not right where we are, but like a street over, at where and then the kids in the camp having heard the whistle, come and watch Brigitte do a little peacock kind of dance, and they throw knuckle bones at her for treats. The kids love Brigitte. She's a monster, but these kids love her.
But she's also a cute monster's bird.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have tumor faces too. So
cute and monstrous. I'll allow it. Yeah, go ahead and swoop her in. Go ahead and give me a roll. It's going to be just straight difficulty 1. You're going to have to overcome the atmosphere of tension of 2. And I'm going to add 1 additional mystery complication.
Okay.
So
I'll say survival presence prop maybe.
That works for me.
And can I add her enhancement to it?
Yes, her enhancement trait, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I gotta say that Sherry's probably not helping with the tension part.
That's fair.
She's probably staring down this lady that's in her way. So
that is a total of 7 successes.
Excellent. You can shift the atmosphere. You have enough to overcome any extra complication that would be added on by the intimidating cyborg that's in the room. And you may choose whether or not the children and other perhaps childlike people inside of the house elect to come out and look at the bird or not, since you had 7 successes.
Yeah, they absolutely come out and cavort and throw knuckle bones at the bird as she kind of like does this terrible like she's like splaying her feathers, about maybe a fourth of which are still on her body, and just like peacocking around, leaving like scabs and terrible leavings behind her.
Excellent. As soon as the mood starts to lighten, Bella smirks. The kids are sort of laughing and joking around with the bird and having a good time. And then you hear sort of a loud creak from inside as your younger siblings come running out of the inside. The ones that you were getting out. 2 other children. And Gorier comes out. He's on a skateboard almost. If you imagine a square piece of wood with wheels on it. One of his legs is completely missing. The other one is missing from the knee down. Despite that, he's probably about 7 feet tall. He is missing one arm at the elbow, and his other arm is a twisted claw on the end of it. His flesh is scarred, marred, and twisted as he pulls himself onto the porch and says, "Pretty bird."
I will go up and I will approach him and just like give him a playful little punch on the arm. Says like, "That's right, I brought Brigitte for you, friend."
He smiles. "And more friends. Gloria like making friends." What would all of you like to do as you see this massive aberrant come rolling out of the house?
Hello.
Sherry's gonna be a little more intense and just like kind of stay in defensive mode a bit.
As you when you like react like Dorier like backs up a little bit too, like
Sorry, we had a rough trip and my nerves are a little on edge. Hello.
Do we need to get you more hooch?
You have some?
Bella says, "I do." She reaches down and pulls out a beer bottle that clearly has been refilled and resealed multiple times, pops the top off of it and hands it to you.
We're just gonna try and slip into an alcohol.
This is not nearly as toxic, nor was it made from the spit of a dying man. So
Joel at first will kind of stare at the aberrant, but not with like, "Ew, what is this thing?" but just like an intense curiosity. As his brain starts to imagine how he got to be missing his arm and legs, before he realizes there is still, a certain amount of professional etiquette that needs to be maintained. And he will offer, as he would have with Bella, I just forgot to bring it up. He would offer a slight bow, a nod of I acknowledge you in a respectful manner.
Sure. I would like each of you to try give me an empathy roll, or if you'd like to lean on something else, you may do so. Because I would like to make sure that you do not cause Dorier any panic. You are strangers and he is somewhat childlike.
All I got is survival.
Well, then you can just roll a straight, you can go off presence if you'd like, or composure if you'd like.
Okay.
Can I do a manipulation persuasion as I give a false sense of this is okay with me?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So we had 3 from we had 2.
I forget. I have the edge for I am a skilled liar, and it offers a 2 enhancement. Is that dice or is that automatic success?
It's automatic successes if you get a material success.
If I get, yeah, that's right. Okay.
I got 2.
Excellent. And how many did you get, MJ?
MJ got 2. MJ's also just kind of is doing the best. Hey, how's it going?
And
not-
Fiona
Hi,
got
how are you?
how many?
Can I do? This is a roll not to like alienate this kid, right?
Effectively, yeah, you're trying not to scare him.
Yeah. Could I do integrity and composure?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That is
Keeping your own feelings about him within is integrity, composure, 100%.
Mhm.
And what were you asking? Slip, sir.
oh, Slip has 6 successes in hiding his disgust and just making this guy
You do
feel
so.
like he's the bee's knees.
Yeah. 3. I can't do 3.
So Gurrier clearly sort of gravitates over towards Slip almost immediately and tries to navigate in such a way where Fiona or Henri or both are between him and everyone else. Like, it's very clear that he is more comfortable with these 3 than with the others. And he says, Bella told me you would have questions.
Yes, we're news reporters, and we would like to get your story out to the world.
I see. I have come. He wheels inside. This is my room. You see, he's got a house. Living room is set up. There's some toys sort of scattered around in various broken states. You can see there's a Trinity set up.
Does it
Looks like it's
sound
probably run off a
like
generator.
maybe his English is not so good, or is it more
I mean-
just he's a child?
Could be both. It could be that one of the things you notice is that a large portion of his head appears to have been caved in at some point.
Kind of like Iron Giant.
Almost, yeah.
Not undead
Joel
that.
will try speaking in French to him
He
to
says
see if
a little better, a little easier.
a little better.
That's what I learned first, yes.
Yeah,
I remember nothing from before. Flashes. Violent moments. My life began here in France. And it is the language I speak.
I didn't want to make assumptions on an initial meeting, but if it will be easier, we can do the interview in French and I can translate it after the fact if that would be easier for you.
Oui.
Does Henri speak French, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, absolutely does.
So yeah, you know what's being said,
Mhm.
like, but I think everyone else is just hearing French gibberish.
Yeah, unless you have some sort of chances are good you probably don't speak French.
Yeah, I have Rosetta Stone, so I speak a bunch of different languages.
What languages do you speak?
Rosetta
Me?
Stone?
Yeah.
Kind of anything. Just
Pretty
about,
much
right?
anything. The 5
If you
that I
can't speak
put
it, you
down-
can sort it out with Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, the 5 that I had put down, because it says to put them in kind of like language groups, was I had put down Russian, German, French, computer language or computer programming,
Right.
And then as a wild card, I threw on Korean because why not?
Fair enough.
I imagine with MJ's background, they wouldn't know French, but having spent time in Pseudo America, Spanish, so
You
I
can
don't know that
at
they
least
would
make
get-
out the root.
yeah.
Right. You're probably getting some basics of what's being said, and at the end of the day, Bella is willing to translate as well.
Yeah, I imagine stuff is being translated in real time, as well as, Joel has already made the mental note of I'm going to have to go back and add subtitles in English, along with all of the other languages that I speak, so that it can be appropriately enjoyed by people.
So
Sorry.
if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
So I do not know. I was born elsewhere, but I was reborn here in France. That is what is important. I do not know how long I lived before.
What is your first memory?
I remember screaming, blood, fear, and then I remember Bella. And he looks out at her. She's still sitting on the porch, rocking in the swing. She saved me.
She seems like a nice person once you have earned her trust and respect.
She is like a mother to me. And all the children here are like siblings, which is why I wanted so much to do this interview when it was brought up to me.
And we are very grateful for that.
I need to tell the world they have to end this embargo. These people need supplies. These people need doctors. These people need food.
We did bring some supplies, as much as we could carry, and
You did, and you are kind people, and there are kind people here in the Blight, and they need help. And this United Nations with their quantum zones and their quarantines, they are why the children do not get the help they need. My presence, I know I make them sick. But if we could have free traffic doctors, I am supplies. I am not a danger.
the people are not worried about you specifically. There is a negative stigma on your kind that
It makes sense, but you can tell them in this interview that that man who came, the man who attacked Esperanza, is dead. And if he were not dead, I would kill him myself.
as I'm sure many would, the crash of the Esperanza has caused so much suffering, so much pain.
I know, but it is compounded by the refusal of the United Nations and the Psi orders from giving us free movement. We cannot be chained. These children cannot be chained.
Cannot be changed. You mean
Cannot be chained. Cannot be bound.
chained?
Cannot be tied. Cannot be locked up in this blight zone. I would send the children somewhere safe if I could, but there is nowhere safer here than with me. But I know that I make them sick. It is, what do the Americans say, a catch-22?
a monkey's paw. There's many different names for it.
It is a shit show, and I'll spit on the ground and then go back to being quiet.
The
It needs to be changed, and we want it to be changed. We are doing everything we can to show that though there are some that still have some danger to them, the majority just want this to end.
He says, you point them to me. I take care of them. I protect my people. You ask Bella. I use no violence except to protect my family. And I will use every bit of violence at my command to protect my family. And when he says that, Slip, you feel like corruption pulse out of it.
So Slip's feeling a little bit conflicted. He feels that corruption pulse, which freaks him out. But in a sort of fake it till you make it moment, he's lied so convincingly that he feels for this guy that it's become true.
Beautiful.
There, and you greatly, continuing the interview, of course. You actually greatly exemplify one of the great proverbs, great quotes of time, which is those that are capable of great violence but choose not to enact that violence will inherit the earth. You use your violence, your power to protect those around you only as a means of last resort.
Yes, Bella is very smart. She talks for us. She steps inside at that and says, thank you, Gurria. That's very kind. Why don't we... It has been an exciting day and a long journey for all of you. Why don't we wrap that up for the evening here, and I can show you each to quarters. We've prepared rooms for you in the old hotel. It's the probably safest place to sleep in the city. The paint is old and has lead in it. Should help a little bit with the ambient corruption.
Then lead the way, mademoiselle.
Of course. Gurria, please pick up your toys. He nods and starts rolling around the room, cleaning up. And you're taken to an old, looks like it was prior to the Esperanza crash. Require was a fairly hopping tourist attraction. It's a very beautiful little French village with a lot of architecture dating back into the 12 and 1300s. A lot of that stuff still stands even after the Esperanza crash. And this hotel that you're in is no exception. It's beautiful, well-appointed, if a bit neglected building. You each have access to your own private quarters and are given full access to your weaponry once you're no longer directly in Gurria's presence. Bella explains she just feels she feels more comfortable if there are no weapons around him unless there have to be. Because while he is kind and generous and virtuous, he also has the mentality and the emotional capacity of about a 9-year-old. And I don't know if you've ever seen a 9-year-old throw a tantrum, but one who can also throw a bus is a concern.
And yes, I completely agree. It is to be avoided to cause such issues.
Indeed. So, is there anything that I can do to make your stay here more pleasurable, more comfortable? Anything I can do to be of assistance to you?
Not for me, but if there's any way that I might further assist you please do not hesitate to ask.
Are you okay with this interview? As you said, he has the temperament and the mind of a 9-year-old.
He wants to speak his piece to the world. He has saved my life and saved my people. The least I owe him is that. Do I think it's going to make a damn bit of difference? No.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
I appreciate the risks you're all taking and the potential that the interview might have, but you'll forgive me if I have a dim view of the powers that be. Yeah, Korea is right. My people are starving. We have to act as bandits to get supplies. I mean, and when we don't, we have to repel those that do. It's not how I want to live, and it's certainly not how I want to see these children raised.
Do you want to get your voice out there as well?
I am not.
I think it would be good to include you at least in part in the interview.
What is it you want to know?
I don't want to know anything. I want you to be able to get your message, to your thoughts, your opinions on the situation here to the world at large.
Very well. Then I will sit. Tomorrow, after you speak with Guria, you can speak with me.
Thank you.
In the meantime, I bid you all good night. I believe there is a small gathering this evening at the saloon. You're welcome to join us if you like. Until then, she takes off.
As she's heading out, I'll ask her, Madam Bella, can I walk with you for a few moments?
Oh, please. I enjoy your company. What may I do to be of service to you?
I'll leave with her so that once we're out of earshot, they don't want to put ideas in these people's heads.
Sure.
I'll say I had a thought while they were talking. We saw the minions of the Crimson Saint in the area, and I had the thought that these people outside, they don't understand, and they have little compassion. They only think of their own skins. Maybe if we could find a way, we could have, while these cameras are here, do a sortie, find the saint, kill him, just remove his threat. That will show these people out there that Greer is on our side.
It will show those people out there that Guerriere is capable of grand violence, which they already know. My concern is this, and this is something that we should talk about, we should think about, and I'm open to hearing your thoughts on, but at the end of the day, you and I both know that man was part of a great tragedy, and the public is not going to be so forgiving, yeah?
I know. I just, like I say, they only think of their own skins.
I will sleep on this. I will think.
It was just a thought. You are the mastermind. You are the leader of this place. I am but a traveler.
You're a good man, Henri, and I appreciate counsel. I will think on the matter. You
I would
confident you
say
can find them?
we saw where they were. Brigitte can track them. I think Brigitte can get their scent.
Have you spoken with the
Meantime-
others with this?
Hmm?
You spoken to your companions about this?
No, I have not. I don't want to give them any ideas that they might capitalize on. Only I wish to speak with you first. He is your ward, and I would not wish to stir up an idea for these journalists, get their own blood up.
Oh, that is wise. You are wise. I will sleep on it. I can tell you this, I will not want to move unless they are also willing to take such risks. I don't want to trick them into a dangerous position, yeah.
If you think it's a good idea, why don't we say the idea comes from you?
Yes, that is, thank you, Henry. As always, you are a trusted companion.
They are this crew is good. At the very least, they are getting my little ones out.
They have held their end of the bargain. Good.
If they don't, then it's going to be a bad day for them.
That is well.
Thank you, Bella, for listening to me. I should get back to them.
Thank you. She shakes your hand and takes off.
And I'll return. Has MJ made it public that he has healing abilities to the group?
He's physically, he physically healed
Okay.
the
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're
wounds
around the
in
tent.
front. Well, no, his own wounds.
Uh,
He physically healed himself in front of everyone.
well, you also did some healing
after
around
the-
the camp.
Yeah, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, people, you've seen him used by the Kansas
Yeah.
for sure.
So I'll when he comes back, I said like I just had to have a bit of business with her. MJ, can I ask a favor of you?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
This is my siblings. They're some of the children here. Can I get you to look at them? They have when I've come back, they've been okay, but you know, as he says, he makes them sick. I wish your counsel to see how
Yeah.
healthy they are.
Yeah, I'll take a look and see if there's anything I can do to help.
I thank you. I appreciate it. I want to make sure that they are healthy for the journey.
Go ahead and make a psi plus your highest mode roll, if you don't mind there, MJ.
Two.
They both so far seem to have avoided any corruption related illnesses, though they're malnourished and, obviously in need of vaccinations and all sorts of modern medical attention. They are not currently ill with any corruption diseases. So you got that going for you.
Is there anything that with my portable robot I can provide for healthcare?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make a medicine check. What would you like to base that on?
Knowing his experience in him living in a blight zone, and knowing kind of what things to look for that like you wouldn't look for in somebody who hasn't lived in a blight zone. Would like to try to use resolve with that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you're kind of taking the house MD method
Yeah.
of like powering through and making sure every little angle is covered.
So the medbot gives 2 enhancement.
Correct.
So I got 1 success. And
Beautiful.
Any enhancements that I need to.
So that would be a total of 3. Yeah, so you're able to give them basically a full vaccination panel. You're able to adjust and remove some minor food allergies from them. It should help with nutrition. One of them had a minor citrus allergy that you've managed to correct. and you're able to pump them with some nutrients that will basically bring them out of the state of malnutrition by the end of the day.
All right.
Any other
When you're-
orders of business before we wrap things up for the night?
When you're done with that, Henri will like clap you on the shoulder and say, "Thank you, my friend. I owe you."
MJ's gonna go to the bar to just the gathering they have to just hang out with folks, not trying to do anything other than be like appreciative guests.
Are the rest of you going to carouse and hang out?
Yeah.
Henri's gonna get turned.
Is Cherry going to the party?
Probably, I guess, Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you what, why don't all of you who are attending the party go ahead and give me an empathy or culture or humanities roll.
Got none of those.
Paired with your choice of attribute.
Let's do manipulation.
What do you do when you have no dots in it?
Just choose an attribute.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a stamina on this one, knowing the kind of beverages that are created in Blightstones.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna also do stamina. Henri outdrinks everyone.
I'll do stamina too.
I am gonna use intellect because Joel doesn't really drink. They know that their body doesn't really react well to normal alcohol, and is instead, especially if like the bar doesn't have any kind of music playing or movies, like this is supposed to be a party, normally there's that kind of stuff outside, he would like try and set up his computer and a makeshift projector to like watch movies and have, movies for the kids. And yeah, so he's really just trying to help provide more entertainment.
Perfect. And how many successes did you get on we got 1, we got 4, we got 1, we got 1, we got 4, we got 1. Excellent. So everybody got a success. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grant you all. So that's 4, 8. And then everybody else got 1.
I'm doing manipulation.
All right.
I'm pretending to give a shit about this.
I'm going to give you each a camaraderie bond.
Yay.
Nice.
That is going to have okay. So in situations where the bond participants are working together and at least one is using one of the primary or notable skills used during the period of cooperation. So in other words, one of you is rolling the same thing you rolled today. You can donate successes to each other as a 1-point enhancement.
Nice.
Cool.
So, and that lasts basically for the duration until the story is over. We're about 10 minutes to wrap time. I'm going to go ahead and call that the end of the night as you all party into the wee hours and prepare for the full interviews the following day. Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns before we handle the experience point section of the evening? Everybody had a good time, I hope? Yes?
Yeah, that's good.
Rock and roll. So now we get to go ahead.
I'm just saying, I'm learning.
And for those of you who are new to the system, does everything seem to make sense? Did you have any difficulty following along with what we were doing or why we were making the rules we were making?
as far as being a talent goes, yeah, once I finally get into working with being a psychic, then I have a lot of new terminology. I had to go look up what vitakinetic was because I was like, I can put the two words together in my brain, but I want to make sure that that's actually what they mean.
Moving life with your mind, I guess technically is what vitakinesis would mean. But
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that a cyborg is old technology. I'm like, yo, let's be the most futuristic thing I could think of. Nope.
Yeah.
I think it's more the fact that all of the technology making you a cyborg is old technology.
That's true. There are, if you were, in Nippon, you'd have sleek new cybernetics, but
Yeah.
like you might have glass installed somewhere.
They still have tube bulbs for eyes that have to warm up in the morning.
You can actually you can log into TerraSurge just as part of your. What's this old MMO I keep logging into?
I don't have so much Rust experience.
You got Windows 98 on your side.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the PIM that keeps coming up on my?
It's the Vista boot up sound every morning when Cherry.
I love it.
So you each get a point for showing up and being here. Yay!
Yay!
You also each get a point for reaching a story milestone. You made it to Require, so congratulations. You spent half of the available momentum in a single scene, so that would be a point for everyone. And did everyone achieve a short-term aspiration?
Yep.
I did.
I had to engineer it when I playfully punched him in the arm instead of I punched an aberrant. But
hey, that works. I'll allow it. Letter of the law, it works. James, did you get one of your short terms?
I got 2 of them.
Excellent. So everybody gets an additional point because everyone got a short-term aspiration, and then you get 1 XP for each short-term aspiration you resolved. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you may spend experience as detailed on either page 39 of Trinity Continuum if you're playing a talent, otherwise based on your own personal, it might be in the Aeon book, and I believe there's a separate XP chart in the corruption book, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's mostly for the unique traits.
Right, that's right.
Of which I do not have near enough to buy.
Otherwise, you would just be using the standard XP.
Yeah.
And the last thing is you do have the opportunity between sessions to make tweaks. Since we had a couple minutes real quick, I wanted to bring that up now so you can do it ahead of time if you want to. A tweak would be you can either move an attribute or a skill. If you want to take a dot from one and put it in another, like let's say you're like, oh, we've been making a lot of empathy rolls and I have no empathy. I haven't rolled humanities once. You could pull a dot from humanities and put it in empathy. The only caveat to that is if you move a dot, you have to make a little mark next to it, put an X on the line by it. You have to make sure you roll that next session or else the dot moves back to where it was. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You also make select new aspirations. If you fulfilled your aspirations, you need to replace them. If you have not fulfilled them, you may still swap out one aspiration if you so choose. So any thoughts on new short-term aspirations?
So is getting B-roll something that can be an ongoing short-term aspiration? Or is that something that
it's kind of going to be a given? You're going to be getting B-roll the rest of the show. So I would say no, because that's a guaranteed XP, basically.
Maybe
Now, if there's a specific type of B-roll you want, if there's a specific shot you want to engineer, I would allow that.
I kind of want to keep punching aberrant because I want to do it for real this time.
Okay, you can punch an aberrant in combat.
In combat, there we go.
All right, there we go.
I had to be cheeky on that because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the guy who screwed up everyone getting that 1 XP.
That was good. I appreciate it. And Cherry, did you have something?
Maybe Cherry should show an emotion other than anger.
That could be an aspiration, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of Joel's new aspirations is get Sherry to let him help her
Excellent.
Oh.
in some way, but he wants to help her somehow, especially seeing the occasional glitches in her operating system.
Yeah. She does do that.
with his technological expertise, he wants to help her, whether it's upgrading parts to something, or maybe going in and looking at her actual programming and getting rid of the flawed bits of code. He wants to help.
Beautiful. New aspirations.
I like that. Yeah.
That's very cool. I love ones that encourage teamwork or encourage interaction between players. That's a great use of an aspiration. Fiona, did you have any new aspirations that you wanted to add?
Well, I feel like getting into a fight is, I don't know, getting into a fight is like always going to give me something.
Sure, that's true. And you haven't had a chance to get into it. Didn't you get one for getting into a fight?
Yeah.
We called me shooting the gangsters a fight or whatever.
Right.
The motorcycle gang.
If you wanted to go in, if you wanted to achieve something specific in a combat, maybe.
Yeah. I'm thinking. How about I'd like to use my knife in a way that's not combat. So I'd like to use my knife constructively. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. I love it.
As I killed both of my short-term aspirations, I already have a second one that I'd like to try and hit too.
Excellent.
I'd like to have Joel attempt to increase the level of communication from inside the zone and outside the zone.
Nice. I like it. Cool. And does Slip have any new aspirations?
Yeah, he's met his shorts, so I'm gonna replace those with he wants to impress this group he's with now, and he'd like to use his power in some cool, flashy way, other than just sensing things and crying. So he's gonna think on that. He's gonna figure it out.
So I do something flashy with clairsentience. Yes, I am looking forward.
Something in the moment, something that might help during a combat. More than just picking up stuff and going and freaking out.
Sure.
Yeah. So he wants to show off to them.
He wants to graduate beyond the Jean Grey school of notice something and then pass out.
Pain. Or the Deanna Troy going like suffering, He also, as a short term, wants to manipulate or convince his father to help these poor people, either because he's starting to feel something for him, or just as a way to stick it to a dad.
I'll allow it, and I have such horrible, horrible plans for your father.
Oh, I was going to say you should make one to go give the Aberrant a hug, but
I kind of like that. I'm gonna stick that in.
I kind of really like that.
He can't bring himself to do it.
Terrified of of the corruption and stuff. I think it would actually be really cool.
Yeah, he's terrified of that. Plus, Slip didn't grow up with hugs, so he might try and bring himself to do that. We'll see. There's probably gonna be a lot of false starts, like.
Then it's gonna be this super awkward like.
I love it.
It's going to be so fun.
I love it. All right, cool. Did anyone not get out their last their updated aspirations? Did I get everyone's?
Well, I'm gonna just kind of zone in the B-roll as to getting just a slice of life of what's inside the camp that they're in.
Okay.
And then since getting into the Blight Zone is no longer a workable aspiration, improve relations with the Ashelpin clinics, since they've been hearing all the negative things that have been said, and
it seems the French survivors aren't too fond of the Rexers for some reason.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do things to kind of baby steps.
Repair that breach, find out what the breach in trust is.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Cool. Well, I think we have enough to make us dangerous. We have crept up right up to the 10 o'clock mark. So everybody just give us a quick goodbye. Starting off with, let's start things off this time with Joel. Please give us all of your pertinence.
Well, as I said earlier, I am James, he, they, whatever you really want to call me. I've been playing Joel Ellison Wolf. I am coming up with ways to make my poor boy suffer.
I'm fond of it.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Next up, let's have Henri. Please give us your pertinence.
Well, my name is Scott. I play Henri. Both of us are he, him. You can find me on Twitter at Simulacra RPGs and on my YouTube and Twitch channel, Simulacra TV. And I hope everyone liked the bird.
Everyone loved the bird. I love the bird, and I hope everyone else loved the bird as much as I did.
Bird is the word.
Bird is, in fact, the word. Next up, Fiona, please give us your pertinence.
Hey, Mama. You can find me at Lupine Venda. It's under my name on Twitter. And I played Fiona tonight. Both our pronouns are she, her. And I had a lot of fun being, brooding in a corner and, being intimidating. And I'm looking for a way to throw Cherry at someone.
Fastball special. We will try to work one in.
I'm going
to assemble a catapult of some sort. I don't know.
I can control smaller with sawed off.
I think we could make this work.
Yeah.
You guys, let's work together. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork does, in fact, make the dream work. I see we've got some Brigitte fans in the chat, which we appreciate. Next up, MJ, please give us your pertinence.
I am Zachary Naldrett, he, him. I have been playing MJ Warner, they, him. I can be found on the Bird app. My name is down here somewhere at Zach Rules. If you put 3 W's and a dot in front of it and a period and a com behind it, you'll find my website where links to all my stuff is, all the community content and stuff. And I am going to be playing in a game Start Playing Games for Onyx Path Game Night, Requiem for a Man. So come play Pugmire with me. Sign up. There's seats left.
Excellent. And it's over at Start Playing Games this weekend, right? Is Onyx Path Friday night. Definitely head over and check that out. There are a lot of cool games running. And you can also run a game yourself if you'd like, and even earn a few bucks in the process. So let's see. Let's grab give me half a second to grab that link while I'm thinking of that. Let's have Cherry give us your pertinence, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Haley, also known as Beyblade 666. I played Cherry 5000 tonight, the cyborg that's old technology. Tomorrow I'm playing in a Vampire the Masquerade game that's live. That's on X Crow Rose channel. And I'll also be playing Changeling the Dreaming on Vancouver by Night's channel pretty soon. That's pretty much what I'm up to nowadays. And I really enjoyed playing today and looking forward to next week where we can eat Cherry in a catapult of some sort, I guess.
I'm looking forward to it. I love the look today. Awesome work on the cosplay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. It was a huge blast. I love Cherry. Amazing character. Thank you. And last but not least, I guess that brings us to Slip, huh?
Hey, I'm Joshua Deach, he, him. You can find me at Joshua Deach on Twitter as spelled below my head, or joshuadeach.com. You can check out my writing there. But this week, I would like to plug my wife, Phrasing. She does art at albamargarita.com. all one word. If you like a mix of cosmic, goth, surrealism, it's all there. You can get stickers, prints, t-shirts. Perhaps for the next game, I will wear one of those shirts. But I've been playing your delightfully broken psychic Slip, Ambrose Slip Holloway, who has looked into 5 million possible futures and found one where the fast fall special works.
I love it. And as always, it is a pleasure to share a table with you, Josh. Thanks for being here. And I guess that leaves me. I'm Travis, he, they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone, both here on screen and at home in the chat. And just remind you to, wash your hands, wear a mask, get your vaccines, hug your loved ones. Life is precious and oftentimes shorter than we would like. So just take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you all so much for being here.
Bye.